Namaste. I hope that you all are participating in the fight against the deadly pandemic coronavirus. So here we need not or we should not forget the other part of our duty, that is the studies. So with this regard, I would like to discuss certain topics from macroeconomics. So in our class we already started the lesson 2, that is national income accounting, and we have already discussed certain topics in it. We have seen what are the national income aggregates, what are different aggregates in it, the definitions of it, how do we derive it in order to find national income, and then we have also seen what are the measures or different methods to find out national income or to calculate or to estimate national income. Out of those measures, we have done all in details, and we have done the sums for each. So we have seen what is net value added method of calculating national income, and at the same time we have seen the income method and the expenditure method. Now here today we would like to discuss about disposable income aggregates. So here disposable income aggregates. So what do we mean by the term disposable income? So disposable income, when we come across this word dispose, means what? Which is ready to be disposed of, which is ready to be used. So here disposable income refers to the income either with the nation or with the public which is ready for either consumption or for the saving purpose. Now here we are supposed to discuss about disposable income aggregates. So in order to discuss about the disposable income aggregates, we need to know the term transfer payments. So without knowing the term transfer payments, we cannot deal with different disposable income aggregates. So what do we mean by the term transfer payments? So here transfer payments, in the name itself it is there, transfer. We see that the payment is transferring from one person to other. So you can say, sir, whatever payments we are making, all payments are transferring from one person to other. Yes, all payments are transferring from one person to other, but in return there is something done for it. For example, if I am working in any organization, I am working in our organization, in our institution, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. For my service, they are paying me certain salary. So the salary which I am receiving is in return of the service which I am providing there. So here, but when we talk about transfer payments, it is only one way payment. So in order to know this, we would like to see a small example. For example, if we talk about old age pensions, or since you are students, let us talk about scholarships. So students are receiving scholarships from the government. Now the scholarship is the student is receiving from the government is only moving from the government to the student, and the student is not doing any kind of service in return of it. The students are not doing any kind of work in return for the scholarship which the students are receiving from the government. Now here what do we see? What do we observe? Only there is one way transfer of the money. As a result, the transfer payments can also be called as unilateral transfers. The transfer payments can also be called as unilateral transfers. Now, how can we define transfer payment? So the simple way to define transfer payment is, transfer payments are payments received without any contribution to current output. Transfer payments are payments which are received by different persons but what they are not doing, they are not contributing anything to the current output. So that is what is transfer payment. Now here, for example, if we talk about old age pension, now the old in this old age pension, the old people are receiving certain amount as the pension. Let us take it as 1500 rupees. Now the government is providing 1500 rupees to the old people as pension. Means the old people need not do anything in return of that 1500 rupees. Now if the 1500 rupees is with the government before making the payment, at that time the purchasing power of that 1500 rupees was with the government. Now after the payment is done, after the transfer of the money is done from the government to the old people, what do we observe there? The purchasing power is transferred from the government to the old people. Now under this transfer payment, we observe that the purchasing power is transferring from one person to the other when there are any kind of transfer payments made. So that is what is transfer payment. Now when we talk about the examples of transfer payments, we can talk about, as now we have already seen, the examples of transfer payments in the form of old age pensions. We have talked about scholarships for the students. We talk about unemployment allowances given by the government. We also talk about the taxes which the people have to pay to the government, the fines which the people have to pay. So all these would, the gifts, the donations, all these would come under the transfer payments. So here the transfer payments which we discussed are of two types. So the transfer payments are of two types: the current transfers and the capital transfers. The current transfers and the capital transfers. Now what do we mean by the current transfers? So here the term current transfer refers to the transfer of the income from one person to another. So here that under current transfer, the money is transferring, the income is transferring from one person's account to another person's account, or from one person's hand to another person's hand. So that is what is current transfer. So under this current transfer, whatever is the total amount in the economy in the form of, or the value of, in the form of the value of the goods and services produced in the economy in that particular year, we will be taking the value of the goods and services produced in that particular year, which generates certain income. So that from that income, if there is any kind of transfer made to other persons, that we call it as current transfers. So from income of a person, it moves to income of another person. Now if we talk about capital transfers, so here capital transfers are transfers from the wealth of one person to the wealth of another person. It is transfers which takes certain wealth of a person and adds it to the wealth of another person. That is what is capital transfers. Now here when we talk about current transfers, so current transfers, the examples, for example, if a friend of mine would like to give me as gift certain amount, for example 5,000 rupees. Now that 5,000 rupees he is giving to me from his income of that particular year. So he gives me 5,000 rupees and I receive that 5,000 rupees. So this is what is current transfer, from his income to my income. And when we talk about capital transfer, the example of it, capital transfer we said is from wealth of a person to wealth of another person. For example, if we say my father is having a good property, he is owning land, so he wants to register a piece of land in my name. So that land out of his wealth, he is providing me a land out of his wealth. So here he is transferring the ownership of the land from his name to my name. So there is a transfer of ownership of the wealth. So that wealth would come under capital transfer and not under current transfer. So here when we talk about national income accounting or disposable income, we mostly talk about current transfers and we exclude the capital transfer. So from now onwards we will be discussing about current transfer. Whatever topics we discuss, we include only the current transfers from income of a person to income of another person. So here, now let us come to the topic which we were discussing, disposable income. So what does this term disposable income means? Disposable income, already we have seen that it is the income which is with the people or with the nation, which is ready to be disposed of, which can be used either for consumption or for saving. We can make use of that money to consume, to make expenditure on consumption, and at the same time we can save it. So that is what is disposable income. So let us see what is it. It is the income inclusive of all current transfers. It is the income inclusive of all current transfers. So we already said that what are current transfer. So here the income which is added to the current transfers, or the current transfers which is added to the income of a person or of the nation, is what is disposable income. Now here, or we can also say it as income received from all sources available to the people is also disposable income. Income received from all sources available to the people. Now when we talk about disposable income, so disposable income is the income plus the net current transfers, is the income plus the net current transfers. So when we talk about the income here, so this income whatever we see is the income of the factor owners, is the income of the factor owners for providing their factor services in the production process. The factor owner provide factor services and he or the factor owner would be receiving the remunerations in return. That remuneration or that factor income, we call it as the income here. So to this factor income or to this income of the people or of the nation, we add the net current transfers, the net current transfer. So this is the total amount which is available either with the nation or with the people or with the residents of a country to dispose of. So what is net current transfers here? Net current transfers. So here net current transfers, we already know what it is. So what does the term net here refers to? So net is nothing but the difference. It is the difference between the current transfer receipts and the current transfer payments. The current transfers which we are receiving and the payments and the current transfers which we are making as payments. The difference between these two is what is net current transfers. Now the disposable income may be or may not be greater than the income which is earned by the people or by the country. The disposable income can be greater than the income which is earned, or it can be less than the income which is earned. So you can ask why. The reason is very simple. Here the current transfer receipts and the current transfer payments, the difference between these two, if receipts are more than payments, if receipts are more than payments, means what? There is more money, there is certain money left with us after making the payment, which if added to our income would increase the disposable income. And the other way around, if the payments are more than receipts, if the current transfer payments are more than current transfer receipts, means what? We are paying more than what we are receiving. We are paying from where? We are paying out of our income. So as a result, the income is decreasing. So from this income, when we subtract the excess amount which we are paying as current transfer payments, which is more than the current transfer receipts, when we subtract this from our income, we get the disposable income, which is less than our actual income which we earn. Now next we are supposed to discuss about the types of disposable income. So when we talk about disposable income, here we are taking talking about two types of disposable income. One is national disposable income, the other one is disposable income of the private sector. So here when we talk about national disposable income, what does this mean? National disposable income. Already we have seen what is disposable income, right? And we said that disposable income is the income which is available with the country or with the people for either consumption or for saving. Now here, national disposable income is the nation's income which is available for disposing of. The income of the nation which is available for disposing of. So here what we say is, it is the total income available with the residents of the country. It is the total income available with the residents of the country. For what? For consumption and saving. For consumption and saving. So that is what is national disposable income. Now under this national disposable income, we said that it is nation's disposable income. Nation's income consisting of the public sector as well as the private sector. So the income of both the public and the private sector would be included under national disposable income. Yes, when we come to this disposable income of the private sector, disposable income of the private sector. So what is disposable income of the private sector? So disposable income of the private sector is the income available with whom? With the private sector. Private sector for what? For disposing it, for using it, once again for consumption and for savings. Now here the amount of this income is of whom? Is of the private sector. So here there is no question of the government or the public sector. It only includes the income of the private sector. Next we are supposed to discuss about national disposable income in detail. So here national disposable income, in short we can also write it as NDI, national disposable income. Now here, what is national disposable income? Already we have seen, we said that it is the total income which is available with the residents of the country for consumption as well as for saving purpose. Now here we can also say it as, it is the sum total of national income at market price and net current transfers from rest of the world. We can also say it as the sum total of national income at market price and net current transfers from rest of the world. So national income at market price is what we are taking here. Now here, why are we taking the national income at market price? Why not at factor cost? So national, see, when we are talking about national disposable income, yes sir, under national disposable income, national income is to be there. Yes, national income should be there, but at what price? At factor cost or at market price? Here we are supposed to take it as market price but not at factor cost. Why? Because here the disposable income which we are talking about, we have already seen that the disposable income is the income earned and at the same time the transfers which are added to it, the earned income. The income which is earned, we can say yes, we have earned it out of our work, out of our hard work. But the income, for example, we talked about old age pensions, they are doing no work, but in return they are getting certain income which is the pension for their old age. So this pension which they are receiving is unearned income. We said it is unearned income, nothing they are doing to earn that income, they are just receiving it for free from the government. So that unearned income also has to be included under this disposable income. Now if we remember the formula for market price, what is market price or how can we get the market price? We have already seen that market price is the factor cost. To this we add the net indirect taxes. To the factor cost, when we add net indirect taxes, we get the market price. So here the net indirect taxes which we are talking about, net indirect taxes is also transfers, which is unearned payment. We say taxes are also transfer payments, which is unearned payments. So here the factor cost is the factor remuneration, which is made to different owners of factors of production for their factor services, plus this is earned income, plus the unearned income in the form of taxes, the taxes which is unearned. So here that is why we are taking only market price but not the factor cost. So here the national income has to be taken at market price but not at factor cost. So when we talk about this national disposable income, the concept are of two types. One is net national disposable income, the other one is gross national disposable income. Net national disposable income, gross national disposable income. So when we talk about net national disposable income, what does this net national disposable income mean, or how to find this net national disposable income? So when we talk about net national income or net national product, net national product is the national income itself, national income at market price. To this we add the net current transfers received from rest of the world, the net current transfers received from rest of the world. So when we talk about the net current transfer received from rest of the world, what does this mean? See, for example, India also makes donations, India also gives gifts to other countries, India also provides certain disaster relief funds to different other countries. So India is making transfer payments to other countries, and in return, when India is hit by any kind of calamity or any natural disaster, India also receives certain funds from other countries. So the funds which we are talking here about are only transfer payments, are only unilateral payments. We are not collecting any kind of loan which we will have to pay it back in future. Here it is only the donations which we are receiving, which is unilateral, we need not pay it back. So India is making payment and India is receiving from other country. The difference between what India is receiving from other country as transfer payments and what India is making payments to other countries as transfer payment is the net transfer, current transfers received from rest of the world. So that is what is net national disposable income. So when we talk about gross national disposable income, is also similar. When we talk about the term gross, we need to consider gross national product. Gross national product, once again at the same price, at market price. Gross national product at market price. To this, once again we are going to add the net current transfers which we are receiving from rest of the world. So that would give us gross national disposable income. Or in other way around, if you want to find the gross national disposable income, simple, very simple, which we have seen in earlier classes also, it is to add depreciation. It is to add depreciation to net national disposable income. So when we add depreciation to net national disposable income, we get gross national disposable income. So I hope that all the topics which we have done today is very much clear to you, and the remaining topics which are there we will be discussing in our next video. So please go through the textbook for your reference, refer to the topics and try to understand it in depth, and at the same time do certain works which we are giving from the school app. Thank you.